Hello everyone, this is Miki from WordPress. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to sew a clean, durable slant pocket. Something like this. So this pocket is the kind that you'll see in pants, shorts, skirts, and maybe jumpsuits. So this type of pocket is also called the cutaway pocket because it actually cuts away part of the garment front to be able to fit your hand in. So we'll look at how to reason about this pocket and how to construct it and a few small but critical details to make it nice and polished. I'll be using our Terra jumper shorts, skirts pattern here as our example, but the same principles apply to other slant pockets. I wish I could give you a slant pocket pattern, but this type of pocket has to be really compatible with the shapes of the side seam and the waist seam for your own pattern. So it's just easier for you to hack on your own garment pattern. But I do have a free template to help you trace the size and the shape of your own pocket. So the template is down in the video descriptions. Feel free to check it out. And in this video, let me just first go through the sewing steps to help you visualize this pocket. And at the end of the video, we'll talk about how to use this template to add a slant pocket to your own pants or skirt. So for this type of pocket, we need to cut 3 pieces. The garment front with a slant, the pocket facing with a slant, and cut with the pocket fabric, and the pocket back without the slant. Our seam allowance for both Terra and your free template is 5/8 of an inch, so 1.5 centimeters, except for the slant, which is a 1/4 inch, so about 6 millimeters. Terra's pocket actually spans 2 panels, so make sure to sew them together before installing the pocket. Before we construct the pocket, we'll reinforce the slant to prevent it from stretching. For this, we could either use a narrow twirl tape or interfacing cut on the least stretchy grain. But a great substitute that I like is the fabric selvage. It's firm like the twirl tape and it feels really good to just reuse it. Here I cut it a 1/4 inch wide and based it on just outside the seam line. It's very close to the edge because the seam allowance here is only 6 millimeters or a 1/4 inch. So closest to the body is the pocket back and the slant pocket facing right sides together. And together they form the pocket back. Then we add the garment itself on the outside and we have a slant pocket. So this little triangle on the pocket back is our lining or pocket fabric. Is exposed to the outside, so you might want to cut this pocket back piece in the fashion fabric or outer fabric. Mine is cut from the lining fabric to reduce bulk, so it will look different. I could leave it like this for a color blocking look, but I'm going to show you how to patch it up. I just cut this triangular patch from the outer fabric about an inch or 2.5 centimeters deeper than the opening, so the lining fabric doesn't really show even when the pocket is full and opens up a bit. I'm just going to top stitch the patch on and finish the edge by turning it under. Some ready-to-wear garments serge this edge, but personally I really hate that serged feel. So just turn the slightly curved edge by only a 1/4 inch. So if you turn it too deep, the edge won't lay flat along the curve. Then baste the other edges together using the longest stitch length. Heading back to our garment piece, put it together with the pocket facing and sew the slant with a scant 1/4 inch. Now press the pocket facing open and understitch the seam allowance. Since the twirl tape is sandwiched in and adds a bit of bulk, I also top stitched this edge for a crisper look. Before we move on to the pocket back, let's look at how to align the garment with the pocket back. So good sewing patterns will have notches at both the uppers and the side openings, which I've highlighted here. When we line up this outer piece, don't match the raw edge directly to these notches. This is because the edge is slanted and the slant kind of eats into the seam allowance, so making the pocket wider than was intended. So you could see this excess bump here. Instead, we'll align using the sewing line. The seam allowance for this pattern, the Terra, is 5/8 of an inch or 1.5 centimeters, so I'll match that stitch line point to the notch. Same thing for the side seam. This alignment also helps us line up the pocket bags. Turning it over, we could sew the pocket bag together and then serge or bind the raw edge. But since both of our pieces are pretty lightweight and we have a wide seam allowance to work with, I'm going to use a French seam here. To French up the pocket bag, put the pieces wrong sides together by placing the pocket bag behind the pocket facing. Sew at about a 1/4 inch, flip it to the other way, press, and sew again at 3/8 of an inch or a centimeter. Finally, baste all sides together, the side seam, the waist seam, and this seam that connects to the innermost panel. This connection is similar to what you'll see in some ready-to-wear pants and trousers, where the pocket bag is anchored to the center front. So this extra anchor stabilizes the pocket by kind of securing it on more sides. Our free template doesn't have this extra anchor because I want to give you a generic slant pocket. So just sew all the way along the pocket bag. And now we can treat this entire thing as a single piece and move on to sewing the rest of our garment. If you have a pattern that you want to add a slant pocket to, here's how to reverse engineer it with our free template. First off, this template is your pocket facing piece, no modifications. Then if you overlap your garment front with the template, just trace the new front by cutting off that triangle area and also add the notches. Finally, the pocket back is the pocket template plus the triangle area with the notches. If the pattern has a side seam or a waist seam at a slightly different angle or curve, make sure your pocket follows that too. And of course, we can also do the reverse to skip this slant pocket if your pattern already comes with one. Hope this helps. If you're curious about our upcoming Terra jumper shorts and skirt pattern, make sure to subscribe and I'll put up the video tutorial once it's ready. Happy sewing!